This story begins in the Middle East in 1997, where some Secret Service people arrive to carry out a mission on a helicopter. And they caught one of the terrorists and start interrogating him. Galahad questions him, but the man is seen having a granite pin in his mouth. The bomb is about to explode, then the trainee Agent Lee jumps and sacrifices himself to save everyone. Agent Galahad, whose real name is Harry, takes the responsibility and visits the agent's family and informs his wife Michelle about her husband's death. Harry shows her a locket and tells her to call to the number written behind it, and say Oxford's not Bruges, whenever she need any help. Then, Harry gives Lee's son Eggsy that locket, and tells him to take care of him and his mother. After that, the story is shown 17 years later. Somewhere in Argentina, a man named James Arnold, who is a professor of climate science, is kidnapped by some people. Suddenly there is a knock on the door. And a man from the Kingsman Secret Service arrives, and he fights them alone but kills all of them. The professor is overjoyed to have saved his life. Then the doorbell rings again and the agent approaches towards the door. A girl attacks him from behind and cuts him in symmetric. The girl's name is Gazelle, who does not have both legs, but has artificial legs that are sharp enough to cut through anything. This is followed by the entry of the main villain of the story, Richmond Valentine. Afterwards, Gazelle and Valentine takes Arnold with them. On the other hand, we see the Kingsmen's Secret Service Society has held a meeting. And Harry, aka Agent Galahad, is late as always. Meeting starts, and all the agents are informed about Agent Lancelot's death. So now a new replacement for Agent Lancelot is needed. So the chief order everyone to send their suggested new members to him for selection of new Kingsman agent. After the meeting, Merlin comes and told the other two about the case Lancelot was working on, that is in Uganda, Chechnya and some other places. An incident of humans getting highly raged and aggressive showed, that caused their death. Agent Lancelot was working on that mission, and last time he was in Argentina going to save Professor James Arnold. But the twist is he is not kidnapped. Scene shifts, and we see Eggsy, who has grown up a lot now. And the locket that Harry gave to him as a child is also in his possession. However, at that time his life has completely changed. Because his mother had remarried to Dean, who doesn't behave him right, and Eggsy now have a stepsister. One day, while Eggsy is drinking beer with his friends in a bar, Dean's brother overhear him bad-mouthing about Dean. He threatened Eggsy to get out of the bar. But Eggsy very cleverly takes the car key from him and runs the car like crazy. Soon, he and his friends are chased by police. He let his friends get away, but police got him. In the next scene, the policeman tells Eggsy to disclose his partner's name, but he denies. Then, he takes out the locket from his neck and dials the number written behind. And after he said, Oxford not Bruges, the call disconnect. And we see the cops bailing him out. Coming out, he sees Harry standing there, the same man who gave him the locket when he was a child. When these two sit in a restaurant to talk to each other, Dean's brother and his men come there and intends to get revenge from Eggsy. But Harry, after saying a line, "Manners maketh man," beats all of them with his excellent skills and high-tech gadgets. Eggsy is both shocked and fascinated at a time. Afterwards, he reaches home. His father starts beating and abusing him and asks him about the man who beat his brother. Harry had put a translator in his clothes, with the help of which he is listening to everything while sitting at his computer. He threatens Dean from his room, that he will send him into jail if he doesn't leave Eggsy. So Dean leaves Eggsy, and Harry invites Eggsy to meet him at a tailor's shop and tells him about the Kingsman Secret Service Agency. It is a super-secret international intelligence agency hidden from all the nations and people of the world. It was established by some rich Britishers after the World War, to maintain the international peace in the world. And the reason for calling Eggsy here is that Harry wants him to join Kingsman. Since Eggsy also had nothing to do, he accepts Harry's proposal. And then they go through an underground transporter to reach the headquarters of the secret agency. There, Eggsy is shocked after seeing the location. Apart from Eggsy, 8 other candidates are there to give the test. And Merlin is going to take their tests. The following night, we can see everyone is sleeping when the water starts to fill their room. And eventually, the whole room is filled with water. All of them are trying to get out of there, but the entire room have filled with water and no one can get out because all the doors are closed and none of the doors are opening. All of them tries to breathe with the help of the toilet pipe while Eggsy tries to open the door, but he is unable to. Suddenly, Eggsy notices a mirror, and realizes it is not a mirror but a glass. So he breaks the glass and takes everyone out. Then Merlin explains them it was a taste and congratulate them for passing. At the same time, the girl named Amelia has died because of their lack of teamwork. Meanwhile, Professor Arnold, who was kidnapped earlier in the story, is seen roaming in his university. Harry catches him to investigate about Lancelot's death. When the professor does not tell him anything, he gets angry and grabs the professor by his ear and asks him where he has been. The professor screams and his head blasts, spitting a strange liquid on Harry's face, causing Harry to get in coma. Now the recruits have to choose one dog each and have to train them along with their training. Eggsy chooses a bulldog, and names him JB. Here, Valentine wants to know who was the one who caught Arnold, and he reveals, he is the one who killed Arnold. And later Valentine is seen to manufacturing so many SIM cards in his factory. Next, Scandavian Princess Tilda and Scandavian Prime Minister is invited for a dinner with Valentine. Valentine tells them about his plan to fight climate change. The Prime Minister agrees while the princess believes the plan to be insane, so she goes away and calls her guards. But Gezel kills them all and kidnaps the princess. In the following scene, Eggsy and other candidates are seen going through several tests and training. In hospital, Harry's treatment continues for several months, and when he regains consciousness, Eggsy comes to meet him. Harry is happy to know that Eggsy is among the last 6 members. Moments later, Merlin comes and tells Harry that the blast that knocked him unconscious was caused by a chip implanted under the professor's ears. And the signal they got, after tracing the IP address, is found to be a Valentine Corporation. Meanwhile, Valentine claims to launch a SIM card across the world that includes free calls and free internet forever. Harry has got puzzled as to why someone would give such an expensive SIM free. And they found one of his secretary is already being implanted with same chip. In the next scene we see, the candidates are told to jump from the plane. At first Roxy hesitates to jump, but Eggsy motivates her to jump. Merlin announces that one of them may not have the parachute. So they made a plan and opened the parachute one by one. It seems, Eggsy doesn't have the parachute, but he and Roxy managed to safe land on the mark. 3 of them is disqualified, that leaves only 3 candidates. Eggsy is angry to be the one with no parachute, but it turns out he also had the one. Next, Harry goes with a hidden identity to Valentine's estate to investigate further into Valentine's plans. They both have delicious dinner and wine. And they discuss their admiration for James Bond movies. Besides that, Harry doesn't get any intel other than seeing one of Valentine's aides carry a pamphlet for a hate group church in Kentucky. While showing some footages to Arthur, Arthur says that many celebrities throughout the world went missing suddenly, and all these may be Valentine's doing. As their next test, Eggsy, Roxy, and Charlie are dispatched to a nightclub to chat and make a young girl fall for them. As they talk to the girl, they fall unconscious because their drinks were drugged. When Eggsy wakes up, he finds himself fastened to the railway tracks. One interrogator attempts to get Eggsy to provide information concerning the Kingsman and Harry, but Eggsy refuses despite the train approaching him. He is saved as he is retracted under the track and the train rolls over him. When Eggsy reappears, he is informed that he and Roxy have passed the test, but Charlie has failed because he tried to trade intel about Kingsman for his life. Then Harry and Eggsy goes to Kingsman Taylor's shop. There Harry leads him into a room full of high-tech weapons, including a bomb as small as a lighter, a pen that triggers a poison, a ring that gives high-voltage electric shock, and a pair of shoes with a poison-tipped blade. The weapons are designed in such a way that no normal person could ever suspect them. Then, they are shocked to see Valentine in the shop, who has come to get a suit for himself. Afterwards, Eggsy and Roxy else are then given the final task of killing their dog to become a Kingsman. Unfortunately, Eggsy fails to do so and is disqualified. Dissatisfied, Eggsy steals Arthur's car and drive back to home. When he is trying to provoke Dean to fight him, the car automatically started and take Eggsy to Harry. There Harry is disappointed on him for failing the test, and he explains that the gun he was given to shoot was not loaded, and also reveals that the girl Amelia was not drowned. She works in their technical department of Berlin. Meanwhile, Roxy is appointed as a new agent for Kingsman. Merlin calls Harry and tell him about a suspicious gathering of people at a church in Kentucky. Harry goes to visit the church full of people. Meanwhile, Valentine and Gazelle hiding 1,000 feet away from church, ready to start the signal on the people in the church, who have Valentine's SIM cards. When the signal activates, everyone including Harry becomes out of control and starts attacking one another like animals. Harry stabs, whacks, impales and blows up anybody who comes before him until he is the last one left in the church. Seeing this, Merlin and Eggsy are utterly shocked. And as Harry comes out of church, Valentine and his people are already there. Valentine explains him that his and others' aggressiveness was triggered by a neurological wave coming from his SIM cards, and then he shoots him in head. Eggsy screams in anger after seeing this. Eggsy then goes to Arthur and tells him that Valentine should be stopped. Because everyone in the world now has its SIM card, so everyone's life is in a deep danger now. But Arthur forbids him to take any step. While Arthur is serving the vine, Eggsy notices his neck and realizes that Arthur has tied up with Valentine. Arthur have poisoned the drink Eggsy just took, but Eggsy has already changed their glass, so instead of eggs Arthur took the poisoned drink, causing him to die. In the next scene, we see Valentine's headquarters, and we got to know that Valentine has planned to kill half of the population with his SIM card. And he have gathered the important persons throughout the world in his hidden headquarters, to save their life. Merlin, Eggsy and Roxy make a plan to stop Valentine. Roxy will go to space and destroy Valentine's satellite, while Merlin and Eggsy invades to Valentine's headquarters using Arthur's invitation. Eggsy successfully gets into the party and finds internet connection to execute the mission. And here, Roxy have reached to the point and ready to launch the missile. But suddenly, one of the balloons blows out, which makes her disbalanced. And here, Charlie has found Eggsy and reveals his identity to everyone. After a bit struggle, Roxy manages to launch the missile just before the second balloon blows out. Scene shifts to Eggsy. He knocks down Charlie and runs away fighting with the guards. When the countdown is about to end, the missile strikes the satellite and stops Valentine's operation, which frustrates Valentine. Eggsy have managed to return to the plane. But the problem is Merlin can't hack the biometric system of Valentine. So Eggsy gets ready with his new weapon to go back and kill Valentine. Unfortunately, Valentine have found a satellite near to where his satellite was, and plans to use that satellite. Eggsy fights very hard, but soon he is outnumbered and Merlin is also surrounded. Then, Merlin realizes something and start working on it. The plan is to blow up everyone's head who is provided with cheap. And it worked very beautifully. Now, Valentine has successfully connected with a different satellite. Meanwhile, Roxy calls Eggsy's mother and tell her to lock her daughter in a bathroom and throw the key into the room. Here, Valentine have started the system which caused people from all over the world going crazy. People beat each other up in London, Rio de Janeiro and New York and all over the world. Michelle is seen trying to break into the bathroom trying to kill her daughter. Meanwhile, the Princess Tilda has offered Eggsy a night with her if he saves the world. That boosts up his motivation, and then he heads towards the control room without wasting a moment. And there, Gazelle and he has a good fight, but soon Gazelle overpowers him. But at last he poisons Gazelle with a little knife in his shoes, causing her death. Afterwards he removes one of her artificial leg and throws it towards Valentine, which finally kills him. And in this way, a very big calamity is avoided. Eggsy then rushes towards Tilda's chamber, and has a beautiful night with her. Before the end credits roll, Michelle and Dean are seen at the tavern. Eggsy walks in wearing a nice suit, informing Michelle that his new job has provided him many privileges, including a new home for his mom and little sister. Dean sends his thugs to beat up Eggsy once more while Eggsy walks to shut the front door. He says manners maketh man, as Harry once said, and grabs a glass with the umbrella hook and throws it at Dean's face. As the movie ends, Make sure to subscribe our channel for more content like this, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay notified about our new videos. Thanks for watching.